Hey, Danielle, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm so glad.
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm on my phone. I'm at the Future Farmers of America banquet right now, and I just snuck out. Are you guys ready to begin?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to kick us off, and then I'm going to sneak back in to the Future Farmers of America banquet. And then to my house where we're honoring the seniors in our neighborhood and we're hosting. So it's a night of splitting myself in three, but you all know how that goes. Anyway, welcome. My name is Mindy Robbins, and I'm one of the owners and artistic directors of Utah COPA. Just to give you, my guess is I'm looking and there's like 23, 28 participants. It's growing as we're talking, which is awesome. Just to give you a little heads up, my guess is a lot of you are new parents who are kind of looking into this, wondering if this is right for your child. So I'll give you a little bit of history of what COPA is, how it started. Quickly, COPA stands for Conservatory of Performing Arts. It started in my basement, but really it started with a dream on the Tuacahn stage. My husband and I, and then Nathan and Susie Balser are owners. And we were performing together in a season at Tuacahn in 2001 in Annie Get Your Gun. And we became best friends and said to each other, we should run a studio together one day. And we kind of ended up going different directions. My husband got his master's degree and they went to New York. Nathan performed in 5 Broadway shows. And Susie performed in Mamma Mia, the Broadway sit down in Vegas. And he did it as well. And then they went to Wyoming and we actually ended up starting COPA. And it started in our basement. I was teaching private voice lessons and ended up with a huge wait list of like 64 students. And I thought, I can't teach all these people, so I'll start a group class. And that was the first group class. It's been about 16 years since COPA was founded. And it was originally Robbins Music Theater Academy. Then it moved to On Broadway Academy. And we were trying to figure it out, but maybe, I don't know, the last, what do we say, Katie, 12 years, 11 years, it's been Utah COPA. And we have a lot of programs within COPA. You're attending the Music Dance Theater Academy meeting, but we also have a dance program. We have an acting program and we have a pop music program. And so there's a lot of different things and some of those programs can overlap. I know Katie will probably speak to you or Danielle about our acting program that we're starting in Draper this year. And it is possible to do both. I have my daughters in music dance theater and in the acting program this year, and it was awesome. And I saw incredible growth on all fronts. So if that's something that's of interest to you, we have the acting parent meeting and you're welcome to look at that. Dance and MDT also can overlap. I know Danielle has her daughter in Draper in dance as well as MDT. And so that works as well if you're looking for more. Our goal at COPA, gosh, we have a lot of goals, but some of our most important goals are number one, it always makes me cry. Katie, every meeting, Danielle, every meeting. So when I talk about my friends, because I love my friends. Anyway, hiring like the best, like that's one of our COPA goals. And you guys, we've done it. Like we have the most amazing team. And here I am standing in a parking lot at Lone Peak and I look like I'm on a phone, literally talking to myself because all I see is a black screen. These Zoom experiences are so weird. Out here crying. Anyway, let's start with Danielle. Danielle Nelson is our Academy Director for Draper, and she is the bomb diggity. She's organized and talented. She grew up in a studio. Her mom ran a studio that many of my friends trained in, and Danielle and her sister Jocelyn, that we'll get to too, trained in, and she is kind, and she's a great leader, and these kids and these companies have just risen, and we are so grateful for her leading the way. Her sister, who is equally as bomb diggity, Jocelyn Robinson, I don't know if she's on the Zoom, but I saw Danielle and I know Katie's here. Jocelyn is our classes director. And so if you have siblings of your children that want to take our classes or kids in multiple programs, Jocelyn runs all of our classes and she is remarkable. Katie Higby is on this meeting, and Katie and I met when we were 10 in like a COPA-esque type of performing experience. In fact, we're texting today about hiring our the director that taught us for our location in Tuacahn. And so that's just so crazy. These circles like go round and round, but I'm walking because now got to head to the car as we're getting ready to host 20 people at our house. But anyway, Katie and I met when we were 10. We were training in musical theater and performing at malls and the Festival of Trees and became dear friends. And she joined COPA, I can't even tell you how many years ago, but thankfully to Katie, did you say? No, it's somebody else. This program has grown and grown, and she has overseen every academy. We have 3 locations in Draper, American Fork. Actually, we have 4 locations. We've had 3, one at Tuacahn, and we're opening another location in Washington, which is not the state, but the city in St. George. And Katie has trained Danielle and then our directors in Washington and Tuacahn as well. And she is a heart and soul and organization and Google Doc brain of this program. So we're super lucky to have her. Ultimately, our goal is to help your children develop confidence, because confident kids honestly make better decisions. They're happier, they contribute more to the world. And it doesn't matter, truthfully, if it's in musical theater or if it's Future Farmers of America, or if it's in calculus, or if it's in soccer. But developing your talents, if your kids love this, like if you can't keep them from singing or playing the newest Broadway musicals on your Alexa at volume 10, or singing in the shower or in the car every time you get there, or wanting to see musicals or watching movie musicals or going to the Sierra or the Hale or wanting to audition for their school plays, then you found the right place. COPA is a family. We love what we do. We love the students. We love our faculty, and we would love to have you join us. So with no further ado, because I got to get in the car and go host a party, we're glad you're here. I hope you get all the information you need. I'm confident you will. And thank you so much for your interest.
Hey, thanks, Mindy. Thanks for joining us. I know you're busy. As Mindy said, I'm Danielle Nielsen, and I am the Draper MDT Academy Director. And I'm excited to see you all, even though I'm not great at Zoom. I can't see anybody except your names. So I feel like Mindy talking to myself. Katie's on here as well. She's going to help me share the screen, and we're just going to kind of go over a little bit about what our MDT company entails, and then we will go to what the audition process is like. There's a chat. If you have any questions, feel free to write it on the chat. We're going to try and monitor that and answer questions as we go, or we will come to them at the end. Okay, so when you go to the Utah COPA website, and Katie, I don't know if you can hear me, if we want to start sharing that screen. Perfect. So when you go to the Utah COPA website, there's lots of amazing information. Like basically any question you ever have can be answered here. So if you go to companies and scroll down to auditions, or there's thing about auditions, but if you go to musical theater, that will pull up information about our musical theater programs, and you can select the location that's best for you. Obviously, we're doing the Draper meeting right now. And when you select that, that will come up to our flyer for 2023, 2024. And when you scroll down, it will have all the information for each company that we have at the Draper location. And it will tell you the times of their classes, the days they come, how much their tuition is. And then it will also talk about their dance level. So for the dance levels, at the audition, we watch their dance, and then we will break them up into levels that's best for them. And they will come to a dance class on Mondays, and it won't necessarily be with their same company, but we keep it relative to age. And they will take a jazz class, a tap class, and a ballet class. And I'm talking about this a little bit more because this past year in Draper, we have seen the importance of these dance classes. And a lot of times our musical theater kids don't love ballet and don't love doing just dance. But as I've seen in my companies, as I've seen my own children go to auditions, these classes are so helpful. And if we can create a positive environment at home and build these classes up to our kids, and then we're trying to, make them fun for our students and talk to the teachers about building them up. We're, changing a few things around this year to try and help that a little bit. But those classes are on Monday, and they really are what will help take your kids from I take private voice lessons and acting to really gaining a triple threat experience, which is what we really like to promote, is that triple threat. So that when your child takes that COPA, they get training in music, dance, and theater. And that's really what they need to participate in theater productions across the state, across the country, at their schools, all those things. So we can come back and talk about that. If they're interested in more classes, we have some add-on classes that they can take, and those are listed right here. And there could be others that are added on the website depending on the interest that we have. So then we'll go on to fees. Fees, I love the way that the MDT Academy does fees. They've taken everything that you have throughout the 12 months, costumes, performance fees, summer camps, MDT camps, extra rehearsals, anything that you have, and they divide it into 12 equal payments. So you will always pay the same amount every single month. There's a one-time registration fee, and then there's our classwear, like that's a leotard. COPA bags are not required. We do require COPA t-shirts, and they're usually not very expensive. We'll sell those in the studio this year. So looking at it, Prodigy and Premier, they will pay $84 a month. And like I said, it includes everything that you're going to get. You won't pay an extra costume fee. It includes the amazing COPA app that we use that we can talk about. Our Moxie Smash and Principal fees, if you notice, they're a little bit higher. And that's because this year we are doing a music video with our 3 oldest companies. And so that little bit of, and they also will have extra rehearsals for tours and things like that. So that little bit extra will cover the music video, which is always so fun to learn how to act on film. They go into recording studio and record their vocals. So they get to do a lot of really fun things with that. And that is basically what the fees cover. If you have any questions about that, COPA is amazing at really breaking down every single thing and trying to make it as affordable as they can for you to get the very best training that you can. So as I said, this is a 12-month contract. So when you audition, you will receive a contract, and it's for 12 months. So your payments will begin the beginning of July June, the beginning of June.
July,
and they
July
will
was
have,
correct. For July.
July. Okay. July through June. So they'll begin the beginning of July, and it will have summer dance camps, MDT camps. All of these things are included. They're registered for.
Danielle, do you mind if I
it
interrupt for just 1 second?
No, I would love it.
So just to clarify one thing, a lot of times people are like, we only had 2 weeks of class this month, like in December. Just know that we count up every week of class, add up the total, and divide it by 12. So even though you might be paying tuition 1 month that seems high because there's less classes, you really are paying only for what you're getting. You're not paying for weeks that there aren't class. We just have spread it out. And we actually do that because parents preferred it. Our goal is to have you know exactly what you're going to pay for tuition and fees every month with zero fluctuation at all. There's nothing extra other than the dance wear. And the reason that's not included is because sometimes kids have their shirts from last year, or they don't need a new bag, or they still fit in their leotard. So we pull those out and keep those separate. Other than that, there's nothing in addition or on top. I also wanted to back up. I'm going to scroll back up, and I'll let you answer this question, but it came in the chat and I think everyone will be interested to know. Danielle, someone was wondering how to know which company they would be in, like what age groups are in which company, so that people can start sort of planning schedules and cost.
That's a great question. I should have gone over that. So our companies are divided by age as well as level, which we will look at our auditions. Typically, Prodigy is 3rd to 5th grade, depending if we have some 3rd graders that we feel are ready. Premier is usually 5th to 6th grade. Moxie is 7th to 8th. Smash can be 8th to 9th, maybe 10th. And our principal is high school, so 10th to 12th grade. So if you have, you know, a third, fourth grader, you would kind of look at that prodigy age. If you have a fifth grader that could maybe go on that cusp, look at Prodigy and Premier. The great thing about our company schedule this year is all of our younger companies, Prodigy, Premier, and Moxie, all come the exact same times. So they will come on Mondays from 4:30 to 7:30 and on Thursdays from 4:30 to 7:30 to keep it even and the same. I like that as a mom to keep my schedule straight. Our older two companies, Smash and Principal, will come Mondays 5:30 to 8:30 and Thursdays 5:30 to 8:30. So everyone's coming 6 hours a week and 3 hours each day. On the Mondays, like we talked about, is dance. And then I didn't talk about Thursdays. Thursdays, they will all do a vocal tech and acting class. And this is a class that I really personally feel like sets COPA apart. Mindy, our owner, as well as many others, have taken a lot of time to write some amazing lectures and curriculum that we teach your children about everything they need to know about musical theater. They go into voice and the anatomy of voice and why we sing the way we do and legit singing and vibrato and belt and these things that they need to know. We go into an acting section. We talk about how to audition. And so during your vocal tech and acting class, you will learn a short little lecture. And then each child will be assigned a legit song. And that's kind of like singing, you know, more opera, more light, more airy, like a princess style. They will be assigned a belt song. That's like, you know, your belt, your wickeds, you know, and then they will be assigned a monologue. And these are smaller classes. They're broken down to, you know, 6 to 10 kids, depending on the number in our company. And they will be individually coached on their material. So they'll learn a lecture, they'll be individually coached in front of the few kids in their class. And it is such a great setting to learn these things. And then their company rehearsal will consist of an hour of choreography and an hour of vocals. And that's the time that we will learn their medley that they perform at our January concert. And then they will start a new medley and perform that at our May concert. This next year, I think I'm not jumping ahead, but just in case. So this next year at Draper, we are doing a jukebox movie musical theme. And the medleys and the material are so much fun. We have tons of movie musicals. We have lots of fun jukebox musicals like Elvis music and Beach Boys music and lots of fun things that the kids have been really excited about in the past. So during those company rehearsals, we will learn harmony parts. We have sheet music for all of the classes. They are assigned solos for the medley. They learn choreography. Our companies will perform with body mics. They have full lighting designs in their show. It really is a heightened experience, which is very fun for your kids, keeps them excited, but also gives them a professional experience at a professional theater with professional microphones and all those things that are really exciting. So that is kind of what our classes are about. Katie, is there anything else you want to touch on, or should we go down to important dates?
I think we're great to move on. That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so this section is very important. And as a parent in the past, I've missed this section. So we work really hard to get you all the dates that you need to know before your child even auditions. So if you scroll down, I don't know if it's scrolling down. It's not scrolling down for me, but when you go to this, oh, there it is. It talks about important dates. So these are the dates of everything we'll have through the year. So if you look at that first one, we have our MDT dance camps. So if your child makes company, we require them to do at least 1 week of dance camp over the summer. And it's really fun. It just kind of gets them to know each other, sees where they are, keeps them active. So we have 2 camps we offer, one in June, the 12th through the 16th, and one in July, the 17th to the 21st. They're required to just do one, but if your child is loving it, they can sign up for both at a small additional cost. Our MDT company camp, which is very important. We do lots of awesome things there. We'll do the music video for our older classes. We'll start tour material. We'll start medleys. We'll do get to know you things. Very really important week. That is July 31st through August 4th is our company camp. Classes begin August 21st. And then we have our fall solo showcase. So that is the showcase, the group voice class that we talked about earlier, where your child will get a solo song, solo monologue. They will perform it at the showcase. So they'll stand up. It'll be like a voice recital. They'll get up, by themselves in a really fun black box performance experience. And they will get an opportunity to perform that solo that they have been coached on. So we have one of those in the fall. That's November 3rd or 4th. So it won't be both days for your child. It'll be one or the other. We just, have to see where our schedule lands for each company class. So kind of plan on it would be Friday night or Saturday anytime. We have an MDT company intensive and dress rehearsal on January 6th. And that's when we get all of our companies together and we prepare for our January recital. And we run our medleys and we go over lighting and spotlight and mic changes. Those are mandatory. And if you have a conflict already right now, let us know before the audition so we can make note of that, because it really is helpful to have those practices before we get into our theater setting. Our COPA winter concert is at the Covey Center, and it is January 16th, 17th, and 18th. And typically our companies are involved in all three shows. That just helps with ticket sales. It gives them more opportunities to perform. So we usually will do a company performance with just company kids. And then we have a concert A where we have our company kids perform with some of the class kids, and then a concert B where our company kids perform with our other class kids. So that's a fun experience. Going on, we have our spring showcase on March 15th and 16th, and that's when they will do their belt song and their monologue. That's one of my very, very favorite performances because you get a little bit of both. We have another company intensive on May 3rd. And then our company concerts this year will be May 10th through the 13th, which is exciting because in the past they've been in April, which is a little bit crammed to get our stuff ready. So all those dates are there for you to kind of plan around, to look at and see. Scrolling down a little more, we have our company tours. So our Smash company, and I don't know how in detail we go into tours, but I'm going to talk about them a little bit. And if Katie wants to chime in.
Totally go into detail. And I'm glad it's you and not me, because it always makes me cry.
Well, you're the tour expert. Okay, so our Smash company this year will go to MTCA. It's in California, and it is a musical theater festival. They have workshops, they have master classes, they compete their medley, they can compete a solo. And I went this last year with my company, and it is unbelievable. These kids learn and grow so much. They're taught by Broadway professionals, by film professionals. They work with them, they audition for them. It is amazing. So that is in February, the 8th through the 13th. Typically we do some other fun things down there, like go to Disneyland, which is always fun. And that price is still in the air as we're working out all of the details. Our principal company will tour New York City, and they will do, it's called MCP. And I don't know as much about this one as I haven't been myself. I'm so excited to go this year, but I've heard about it. So they will go and they will do the same thing. They'll do some really fun master classes, and they will
I would
actually
love
put
to
on.
share about that if you want.
Yes, talk about this,
Yeah.
Katie.
MCP is amazing. We started going to MCP, I don't know, 2013, 14, 15, something like that. And we didn't know what it was. They invited us, and it's funny. So my kids are all musical theater kids, and my oldest is 26 now, and he's a huge fan of the musical Parade. And he was telling me, like, Mom, they're doing a concert version of Parade in New York City. We have to go. And so Mindy called me and she's like, this company reached out to us to like come do this concert of Parade in New York City. I was like, oh my gosh, I heard about that. So we looked into it. We're like, let's try it. This sounds fun. And so they do these concerts either at Carnegie Hall or Lincoln Center, and they bring in Broadway stars, Broadway directors, movie stars, like big name people to be in this show. And we're thinking like, this will be super cool. We're like, the kids will probably all rehearse on their own. And then, we'll go to the theater the last day and the stars will be there and we'll put on this concert. It was not like that at all. We showed up day one. We're just in this big rehearsal hall, like at a hotel, like a hotel banquet room. And the Jason Robert Brown, who wrote the musical Parade, was like teaching them the music. And his wife was playing the piano, and the book writer was like sitting there telling the kids why the story was important. And it's a true story, and talking about like interviewing people and the different parts of the history and all that stuff. And the stars were there from day one. And we're talking like huge Broadway stars, Tony winners, names that, I'll throw out names. I don't know if people will recognize them, but like Jeremy Jordan, Lara Benanti, who else was in that year? I can't remember off the top of my head, but just amazing people. And we went, I think we did 4 or 5 years of the MCP concerts. And over that time, they got to work with Ben Platt, who I'm sure you're all familiar with, Laura Osnes, Tony Yazbek. They got to do one that was directed by Susan Stroman, who's the most Tony Award winning director on Broadway right now. And the kids get to put this on their resume. So at the top, it's not a Broadway credit, but they can put New York. And then they can say, I was in Crazy for You with Laura Osnes and Tony Yazbek, directed by Susan Stroman. And I'll tell you what, when you walk into a room and they glance down at your resume and that's the first thing they see, they're going to look up and pay attention to who's about to perform. So that's pretty fun. And then what else was I going to say about it? I think that's it, but it's really, really awesome. It's amazing. Oh, I was going to say, then it got canceled in 21, 22, and we were planning 23, and we were like, if it gets canceled, we're going anyway. So it did get canceled, and we went anyway, and we planned our own awesome workshops, and it was an amazing 2 days. They got to work with Broadway casting directors, agents, dancers, Shoshana Bean. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She was Elphaba on Broadway, like the longest running Elphaba on Broadway. She came in right after the original Elphaba. So they get to work with amazing teachers, and they took classes at New York dance studios and saw lots of shows. So we're crossing our fingers. MCP says it's going to happen this year, and we told them we are 100% on board. But we know that if it cancels, we can put together our own amazing experience, and it was really, really phenomenal. I will mute now.
Awesome. Thanks, Katie. Yeah, I've heard incredible things about that tour. So going down, our Prodigy and Premiere, they get a really fun, we call it kind of a pre-tour experience. They will go and sing a solo song at Lagoon. It's called American on Stage. And it just gives them an opportunity for another performance, to get feedback from local professionals. That's really fun. And that's on May 18th. And then our Moxie will go tour Tuacahn in June. And they'll go down there and they'll do a pre-show before the show. They'll do workshops with the Tuacahn actors. They'll go see a Tuacahn show. So the thing that I really love about COPA tours, because I grew up in a touring group, I love that they are fun, but they're educational. So our kids are going and they're learning and they're adding things to their resume and they're growing and developing while having really fun experiences of seeing Broadway shows, going to Disneyland, going to Tuacahn. So those are things I think are really awesome to the MDT program, and only company kids are allowed to go on these tours. And it's just such a fun growing experience for them. So we have a few different academies in COPA. Obviously, I love the Musical Theater Academy because that's what I'm over and that's what I love. But there's also a dance academy. So if your child loves dance and wants more dance, there's information on our website about our dance academy, and they have dance companies, they have dance classes. My kids are dual enrolled, so they do MDT and dance, and it has been a great experience for them to kind of really hone in that dance technique. There's also, for the first time this year, an acting company in the Draper location. American Forks had it before, and they do some really amazing things. They go to the Shakespeare Festival and things like that. So like I said, if you're interested in that, I'm not going to go into detail about either of those academies, but you can get information on our website, and they also will have information meetings like this. So, your child can choose one.
Sorry, 1 second.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Where you found the information about this meeting, you can see the information about those meetings. And if the meeting already happened and you missed it, there will be a video. So you can catch up if you're interested in doing more than one academy. Or if you decide, actually, I think we're in the wrong meeting and acting is more our vibe, then you can go back and check those.
Yeah, that's great. But really, that's the thing that's great is COPA's it has something for everyone. They also have a pop company. So if your kid loves songs from the radio and they want to, be a famous singer, there's a pop company also that does more singing and things like that, not as much dancing. So we talked about the audition flyer. So let me talk about the audition process really quickly.
Actually,
our
sorry,
auditions are on May 8th.
Sorry, let me cut in because we didn't go to the
Oh,
audition.
no, go ahead.
So if you're, so at
Yes.
the bottom of all of this information, there's a link that will take you to the audition sheet or the audition page of our website. And if you scroll down, you'll find, so on the left here is MDT, and just under American Fork, I think they're just alphabetical. It has the Draper MDT company audition information. There's a form here that you're going to want to fill out before you come to the audition. And then here's the information about the parent meeting that we are having right this minute. If you know someone who is not able to attend, this information right here is going to be replaced with the video of this meeting tomorrow, probably. They're pretty quick. So you can direct people to that, or if you want to rewatch it to find some information, it will be right there. Then it has just some additional tips to prepare for the audition, what to sing, what to wear, hopefully answers all your questions. And then we have the schedule. So it's on May 18th, and then you can look at what grade you're in to see what time you need to come. And the grades listed are your grade next year. So just remember that when you come to a different group. So, all right, now you can go on to how we cast.
Perfect. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, so here's the schedule. When you come, it kind of tells you what you need to prepare. So you'll have your child prepare 30 to 45 seconds of an audition song. It can be a song they've done at COPA if they're a current COPA student. It can be a song they've sung for another audition, a song that they love, just a song that they feel comfortable singing. And when they get there, first we'll go and we'll all learn a dance together. And it won't be hard. I'm teaching it. It's more to see how they learn choreography, if they have fun, if they're smiling. So we'll learn that first, and then we'll break them up into small groups and watch them do the dancing. And then we will release them into our black box studio, and then we'll pull them a few at a time to go in and sing their song. Once they're done singing, they're free to go. And we'll have people there. If you drop your child off, your child can call you and say, hey, I'm done. You're welcome to stay in the black box and wait for them to finish. We do have a closed audition, so you won't get to come in the dance part or the vocal part. You are welcome to wait in the waiting room and be there with your child, especially if they're young. That might make them feel more comfortable, but it really is a fun environment.
Danielle, I think
Yes.
there might be something wrong with your speaker. Is that just me, or is anyone else hearing it?
Yes, I'm hearing it too.
Okay. You sound a little bit like a robot. You're not glitching. It's just the sound.
Let's see.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, that's much
Is that
better.
better?
Yep.
Oh,
Awesome.
good. Nobody wants to sound like a robot. Um, so, okay, we're talking about the audition process. So yeah, they'll come and do their dance first, then they will sing. If they would like to change their clothes before they sing, they can. They don't have to. If they have sheet music to bring, we will have an accompanist there that will play for them. If they don't have a sheet music and that's stressful for you, they can bring a track and we can play it for them. Or if it's on the COPA app, it's kind of fun to bring sheet music because that's sometimes what auditions are like, and it can give them experience of how to do it in a fun and positive setting. But don't stress out over that. And then, like I said, once they're done, they are excused to go home. Katie kind of already answered this in the chat. So after we look at, everybody's still here, right? Like my screen is dark. Okay. So after we do that, we will get together and we will look at ages and levels and things like that. And we will cast students in a company that we feel is the best fit for them. And that casting could be a class setting. But typically we find a spot for everyone because we love that your kids love musical theater and we want to find a spot where we feel they will be successful. And then we send emails out. We try to send casting emails out around May 25th, 26th, 27th, right around there. Sometimes we're faster. I don't know. And in that email, it will have all the information, and then you can choose to accept or decline that spot. And we hope you'll accept because we would love to work with your student this next year. Katie, am I missing anything on the audition process?
No, that was great. I will just add, hold on one second. My Alexa just went off. I think a kid was trying to call me. So I was trying to stop them before they said too much. Okay, so when you get the casting email, it's a lot of information and might feel overwhelming, but I encourage you to just within the first few days, sit down and go line by line and just make sure you get it all done. It will have a form that you need to fill out to accept your spot. And once you have filled out that form, and it'll have a lot of questions like sometimes there might be 2 options for vocal tech and you'll choose a time, or we'll ask, which we do ask for sure, which dance camp week you want to attend. We'll ask if you want any add-on classes, what your t-shirt size is so we can start ordering shirts. Once you've filled that form out, we count you as a member of the company and we send you the contract, and you have a few days to send that back in. And once we've received your contract, we will register you for all your classes. You don't have to do anything for it. We do it all for you. However, we do need to get everyone registered by June 13th, 12th, something like that. And we don't want to be doing like 125 people in one day. So we love it when people fill those things out sooner and get them in as quickly as you can, so we can do just a few every day. And also some of the classes will be first come, first served if there's like an option for times. So snag those fast. It will also have in that email that list of important dates, a link to the COPA calendar. The list that's on that form you just saw, the flyer, those are like the most important dates that you want to like plan your vacations around. But then we also have a COPA calendar that you can download that has some additional dates that will be important to know, but aren't like this one's mandatory. So you'll want to download that. It also has the link for scholarships. We do have some financial aid for people who need that assistance. We never want a student not to be able to participate who really wants to and loves this because of financial things that are out of their control. So look for that link, fill that out. There is a deadline though. So I always feel really bad when someone has like registered and signed the contract and they know about scholarships, but they reach out in September and they're like, hey, we wanted to work on getting a scholarship. And we're like, oh my gosh, it's too late. That was like in June, because our goal is to figure out all of your scholarship information and where we land and how much, you know, of a scholarship you're going to get before you ever sign the contract. We want you to know for sure what your financial commitment is before you commit. So fill out that link early if that's something that will help your family and help your student to be able to participate. I can't remember exactly what else is in it, but there's, dance wear information, like how to order bags and all that stuff. So don't skim it. Don't just read the first paragraph and go, oh, yay, we're in. It is important information. It is a lot. We know it's a lot, but we figure it's better than 12 different emails that you then have to track down or find or accidentally miss one. So just do those things early. We do send the casting, like I think May 26th, 27th, something like that. And it's a fast process. Like the acceptance form is due within a week and then the contract is due within a week. But like I said, we love it when you do it sooner because that makes our June 11th and 12th a lot smoother when we're not registering everyone at once.
Yeah, great, Katie. And speaking of auditions, we kind of talked about this with the process. So Katie showed you where there was the registration link for auditions. So if you're listening to this meeting and you're like, yes, my child wants to do this, I would encourage you to go and register them for the audition on May 18th, because that's how we will get their order for their audition. And we can get all their information put in. It's a really easy questionnaire, just how old they are, their name, things like that. So I would, if you're interested, I would recommend going and filling that out. And then that way they sing really quickly, and you're done quickly. And that can be found on the COPA website under auditions. It just says registration form. After that process, so after you get your email, and then you send back in your acceptance, we will have another parent meeting on June 1st. And that will just go into even more details of what you can expect during the year with company. You can ask more questions as things come up, but you can put that on your calendar right now on June 1st as like a, welcome to company type of meeting.
It's a lot different information than this meeting. We go through the contract and talk about expectations with attendance and behavior and things like that. And so just so you know, it's not a repeat. We will record it and make that available, but we do this meeting before the contract's due so that you really do have all the information. COPA, one of the things I love about it as a parent is you're going to feel like you're getting a lot of information right now and in the casting email, but we really want to make sure you know upfront all of the details. I've been at dance studios with my own children where suddenly there's a fee I didn't know about or a random rehearsal or, it's a lot of information, but we really want you to know what you're getting into before you get into it.
For sure. And I've loved that about being at COPA as well. So if you're thinking about it and you have any other questions, we can open up the time right now and answer it. I have loved COPA for my family. We kind of, we're around at a bunch of different studios. I have 2 daughters in the COPA program. And the thing that I have really loved about the company experience is it gives these kids a chance to be a part of a team, right? Because we have soccer teams and baseball teams, and they have that unity in that team. And sometimes in a class setting, you don't get that as much. And class settings are amazing and wonderful. And if your child is involved in 100 different things, a class setting might be perfect for them. But I have loved for my own children the camaraderie of a company. They are so encouraging to each other. They become best friends. My daughter has been in the same company with her friends since they were 8 years old, and they're 14, right? They grow up together. They encourage each other. It really is a very unique setting where you get that team experience that you don't normally get in a musical theater environment. A lot of musical theater environments are competitive. They can be catty. It's hard. You're auditioning against each other. But what I have found at COPA is that everyone is so uplifting and kind and encouraging. And I think if we start training our actors and dancers and musicians to be like that, we can change how the industry is, and we will really be a more I mean, it is already an uplifting, positive experience, but I have just been so impressed with COPA in that regard. And I have loved having my girls a part of the company experience.
Hey, before
So if you have a
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah,
Before
go
we
ahead.
come to questions, I just wanted to share about Alta Independent. For those of you that have students that are going into 9th through 12th grade, you can actually get high school credit for your COPA classes if you so desire. It's an awesome program. We don't make money off of this program at all. Quite honestly, we only partnered with them because I wanted it for my own daughter. And I ran into a friend like at RC Willie, and we were talking about kids that dance and do theater and how much time they spend outside of school. And wouldn't it be awesome if they could get school credit for that, because it takes so much time and is, they're learning so much, they should get high school credit for it. And she was like, actually, my husband and I run an online accredited school, and that's what we specialize in. We give, like, if there's kids that are like really good athletes or on club soccer or mountain biking or like all these things, they're like, that's what we specialize in. And so we used my daughter as an experiment, and they reviewed all of our curriculum, and we're now part of their accredited program. Because they are accredited, no high school in the state can turn down the credits. Your school might push back because they just aren't familiar with it, but they really cannot. And then the credit transfers to your student's high school so that it just is on their like Lone Peak High School transcript, and it just looks like any other class. Mindy has done it with her kids. This was like, my daughter graduated in 2019. So we've been doing it now for, 4 years, and we've had a lot of students do it. And it really is amazing. I know, isn't my dog the cutest? He's my best friend. He's constantly right here. Anyway, so we've had students do it where they want to go to school less. So they'll do like math, science, English, history, 4 periods, 2 and 2 at school. And then they can come home early and do homework before they head to COPA. Or maybe a lot of you might have kids that also do tennis and, other things in addition to COPA, and just need more time in their day to get it all done. So that's a great option. My daughter actually does a lot of theater outside of COPA. So we've set it up so that she doesn't have a first period any day. Like right now she's in Newsies at Hale Sandy, and also a high school student, and they rehearse in Sandy till 10:30, and then she doesn't get home till 11 and needs to take a shower and wind down, and then is supposed to be at school at 7:45. And that just doesn't work for these kids that are really involved in theater. So she doesn't start school until 9:45 instead, and does the last 3 periods of the day, and it's worked great. And then she gets credit for her COPA classes. COPA classes can count for your, I think, at least for Alpine School District, I'm sure every district has their own, but it's probably similar because the state probably has a standard. You can get your 1.5 credits of fine arts through COPA. You can get, there's 1.5 credits of PE required. You can get one of those through COPA. There's one of the half credit has to be done through school, but you can do 1 credit through COPA. And then all of your electives, if you wanted to. I know there's other electives that kids like to take, but you can use COPA for any of your electives. So we, like I said, don't make any money off of it. Obviously, you do pay a fee to Alta Independent per credit. You can do half credits or full credits. The other thing that's awesome about it is that it really helps their GPA, because their goal is that these kids get an A. Our goal is that they get an A. So if you do, so my daughter since 9th grade has done 1 musical theater credit, 1 dance credit, and half a PE credit. So 2.5 credits through COPA that are guaranteed A's, because one of the requirements is good attendance that we sign off on, and they have to write a 2 to 3 page paper. But if their paper is really bad, they send it back and say, you need to write it or fix it. They're not just like stuck with a C. So they can write that essay as much as they want until it's an A. And then they have a 2.5 credits of A's and they didn't have to go to as much school because they're busy in extracurriculars outside of school. Alta does, just FYI, in case anyone's interested, offer all the other classes. So if you ever wanted to do like health or financial literature, because those are ones that take a lot of time at school and don't really need to, you could do those through Alta as well. And we've done that and it's been awesome. So anyway, just a little plug for Alta. If you have any questions about that, Mindy and I are always happy to talk about it. All of our kids have done it a lot. And so we're happy to share and mom to mom, just have a chat about it if anyone's interested. So now we can open it up for questions. We actually still have about 10 minutes. So feel free to just unmute yourself and throw them out there. And if you don't have questions, you're welcome to just log off. And we're so glad you were here. And Danielle did awesome. This was her first time hosting the Zoom meeting. So we're really excited to have Danielle. But yeah, just unmute and ask away. This is always the awkward moment.
I have a question, and it's probably a really dumb question.
There are no dumb questions. They're all great questions.
Okay. So this is my daughter's first time and like trying out. So you said something about sheet music for the audition, and I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. So it's just like the music that you would find in a piano book. You know, you can order, yeah,
like this.
that. A great place to find sheet music is musicnotes.com. You can find just the individual song and print it out. Another great thing about musicnotes.com is that you can choose what key you want it in. Now, if you don't know what sheet music is, you probably don't know what key it is. So I'm just going to say choose like original key, unless you have someone that can help you figure out that your student needs it a little lower or a little higher. But if you're practicing to like something on YouTube, it's probably just the original key. And then it's great. You just print it out. And for those of you, since you say you don't know, you have no clue about sheet music, what we like you to do is take like a highlighter and put little brackets around where they're going to start and where they're going to end. And that way, when they go into the room, one of the reasons we like them to use sheet music is because when you go and audition for like Hale or community theaters, they usually say only sheet music, and they'll be adamant. They'll be like sheet music only, no tracks at all. Now, if you walk into our audition with a track, we're going to let you use it and be just fine. But since we're an educational program, we want to educate them in all aspects. And we figure this is the best way to practice auditioning and practice preparing for an audition in a safe setting. So we just find some sheet music. Maybe there's someone in your neighborhood that you know is musical that could help you. We're happy to help you if you want to email Danielle at utahcopa.com or info@utahcopa.com. We're happy to help. But musicnotes.com is a great resource. And then the standard in musical theater auditions, they'll usually say 16 to 32 bars. The problem with that is that some songs have a really fast tempo and some have a really slow tempo. And so 16 bars in one song might be 10 seconds. And so really a better rule to follow, no matter what it says, is like 30 to 45 seconds. And always when you're finding what part of the song you want to sing, have it make sense. Don't finish in the middle of the sentence. It's so cute. Like it actually really makes us giggle when you can tell that child worked so hard and like counted their 16 bars and they stop in the middle of a phrase. It'll be like, you're only a day. Thank you. And then they stop and we're like, oh, you can finish. So when you're helping your student figure out the cut, finish the phrase, have it make sense. Don't be like super glued to it has to be only 16 bars or only 32 bars. 30 to 45 seconds, something that makes sense. It's usually like a verse and a chorus or just the chorus. Another recommendation I have is not to start at the beginning of the song. Traditionally, that's not the most exciting part. So I usually with my kids go to the end of the song and count backwards, and so that they get like, you know, the big last note and, you know, the strongest part of the song. So that's my best advice for that. And again, if it is like a deal breaker and too much of a headache, come in with a track. We're totally okay with that. You can find them on YouTube. There's so many sites. You can just do a Google search for tomorrow instrumental or tomorrow karaoke, and you can find it. But we do prefer sheet music just because it's such great training for them to practice. We've had students that are like their first time ever singing to the piano is in the audition room, and we want them to have practiced that and feel comfortable with it, and know that you walk up to the pianist and you say, I'd like to start here and I'd like to end here, and this is how fast I want it to be. And that's just like really, really great training for them. So, and we'd rather they do it in our space where we're going to let them start over, and we're going to help them find their pitch, and we're going to, you know, teach them in the room, rather than it just being like a quick in and out. We will help them. And so that way, when they go to audition at Draper Historic Theater or Sandy, they're pros. They know exactly what they're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Just really quick.
Yeah.
If so, let's say we feel like they're not comfortable enough to do it with the piano
Mhm.
music, and we need to bring a track because that's probably going to be on my cell phone. Would I go in there and just put it in and then leave, or just give it to my student, like my child? I just was wondering that part.
Yeah, it's probably better if you unlock it and just send it in with them, and then we'll have someone that can help, like push play and stuff. So as long as it's unlocked and you have it up, we'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll have speakers that we can help them hook it up to as well and help them sound check. The thing that's great about this audition is it's an audition, yes. We kind of treat it like a workshop experience, especially for these younger ones, where we help them. We make it, you know, a fun experience for them. So there should be no reason to stress out.
Yeah, we consider it a really important part of the training, and it's not going to be scary. We sing along sometimes, we'll help them, we give them second chances. They really should not be scared. Our goal is that they audition for us this is why we have our kids re-audition every year. The more you audition, the better you get at it, the less nervous you are. And we want them to get the nerves out with us, and so that by the time they're going to an audition at a theater, it's not scary. They've done it a million times. They know their cut. They know how to talk to a pianist. They know how to learn choreography quickly. They know how to behave in the room because they're watching that too at auditions. So, you know, it's important of the training, important part of the training as all the things. So.
Okay, any more questions?
There's one that just came up in the chat, and I'll just answer this. It came up more than once about summer camps. So for the 2 dance camps, if you have already planned your summer, and we totally understand that, and they just don't work out, we have some options. It's not a deal breaker if you can't be at the camps. The dance camps especially. What we typically do is we'll just give you, we'll just say next summer you can attend 2, and just bump it to the next summer. We also sometimes have said, like, if you can't attend the dance camp in the summer, it's 15 hours. You could just save those 15 hours and go to like some of those add-on classes. You could just drop into those, like a tumbling class or an extra tap class or something on other days to just make up those 15 hours and kind of dabble and try some other dance classes, hip hop, something like that. For the company camp, it's also not a deal breaker. It's really sad. We'll miss them a ton. We do a lot of like team building. We start our material, but no, it's not a deal breaker. If that's a problem, we totally understand, and we'll just be really sad that they're not there, but it's okay. And no, it only happens 1 week. Company camp is just 1 week. So company camp's like a big thing. Every company at all of the locations do it the same week. So dance company, acting company, pop companies, MDT companies at all the locations. It's kind of like a big, insane party. And we do a lot of stuff, but they will still be able to start on August 21st and not, they maybe will have missed learning like a dance and getting to know some people, but it's never been a huge problem. We'll just miss you. And by the way, the camp we usually announce the camp for the next summer. So if this is your first year and you've already planned a vacation, totally okay. Next year, we usually announce the camp dates like November. And it's typically the same week, to be honest. Like I can pretty comfortably say it's always that first week of August. But there's a chance it'll change. But if it changes, it's usually by like November, and we start announcing it in our newsletter so that those that are planning to return can know to just keep that week open always. So it will probably never change because now everyone that's worked at COPA has all like adjusted and moved all their family reunions to be around it. And so I think it's pretty locked at this point. Thank you, Wes. Anyone
That
else
was a
have
great
any
question.
questions? Awesome. Then I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up right on time. This was like the most punctual meeting ever. Danielle, do you want to say anything to wrap it up?
No, just thank you for being here. Really quick, I do see 2 of our directors on here for next year. So we have a new director coming in. Her name's Melanie Cartwright. I don't know if she wants to turn her camera on and say hi. We're so excited to have her join our program. Jocelyn Robinson will be directing a company. We have Chloe. She couldn't be on here tonight. She has her students at a competition at the Eccles, so that's exciting. But anyway, we have some great teachers, some really fun things for next year. And so like Katie has said, and Mindy, if your kid loves musical theater, they have maybe found their home. And we hope that you'll send them to auditions and let them develop their talents. And we really look forward to meeting them or getting our students we've had in the past back. So reach out. You can email me if you have any questions, Danielle at Utah COPA. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And if not, we hope to see you all on May 18th, Thursday.